Hello, in this video, we're going to talk about how to add work or service descriptions to work orders and how to search for and add items to work orders. And this will also apply to many other areas of the app, including invoices. Let's open a work order. Double click to edit. And we'll immediately go to the notes section. This is where the technician would put in their notes. You can see the brief description. Let's go back to main. You can see the brief description of what we're doing. No heat upstairs. Under the Notes tab, we can see a detailed description from the office or whoever entered the work order. We have a place for private notes. These would not print on a work order or anywhere else. And then we have our technician notes. We are not in edit mode. If we want to change any of this, then we want to click edit. And that will allow us to edit the work order, including the notes. If you put your cursor in one of these boxes and click timestamp, it'll add a timestamp, and then you can put your notes in front of that timestamp or below it. I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to hit save. And I'm going to show you a little easier way to add tech notes. Go back to the Notes tab. Notice the Add Description button. You will see it when you are not in edit mode. Click Add Description. That takes you to basically a database of pre-written descriptions. Your company maintains this list of descriptions. It allows you to search out these descriptions, such as clean something. You could have clean coil or whatever you want to type in. And you'll find descriptions that have that keyword. So if you replaced a fan motor, you might type in fan motor, and you'll see motors and capacitors, condensing unit fan motor. So let's say that we replace the fan motor on a heat pump and we want to add the description. We're not adding the parts. We're adding a description. This is so that the technicians don't have to write all this out from scratch. Now let's put in clean, the word clean, or maybe evap, part of evaporator, and try to find cleaning an evaporator coil right there. So rather than say, I cleaned the coil and typing all that out, they just simply check a box. And when you're ready, you'll click the Add button, and it'll take us back to the work order. And the same is true if we were in an invoice. It works the same way. Now you see your technician notes, they're done. And nobody can complain about the technician not taking adequate notes or misspelling words or whatever, because the office can do that. They can add these and maintain these. That's the basics of adding technician notes to your work order or an invoice. Obviously, you can edit these. Click the Edit button, go to Notes. They're fully editable. Now let's talk about adding items. Let's go to the Items tab. The diagnostic fee was added already to this work order. The office could have done that. And why not? Make it easy. If you know there's a diagnostic fee, add it. We have the option of adding services or adding items. That's a preference as to whether or not you want to show both buttons. I'll click Add Items. And now let's search for that fan motor. So you could just search for motor if you don't know the part number. But the problem with that is it's going to return a lot of results. Maybe you put in a half-horse motor. So you might try half-horse or half. And that returned a lot of results. So maybe half HP. All right, now we're talking. You also have the ability to check this box, more options, and filter out by category. If you've created categories for your flat rate tasks or your items, then of course you would want to filter by category, and hopefully it would be really easy to find what you're looking for. So here we have a flat rate task for replacing the fan motors, and I'll just pick one randomly. And then maybe we want to have a task in here for cleaning that evaporator coil. We might search for evap to see if that returns something. We might have clean, type in clean. And again, we're getting a lot of results, so we want to filter this out by a specific category here. This will look different than what you're seeing depending on how your company has set this up. But filtering by category is obviously very important if you don't know the part number. Clean evap. All right, so there we go. Found that. Now notice I've selected 2, and it's telling me that you've got these 2 selected. I can just keep doing this. I can pick more and more items. If I change my mind, I can get rid of them here. When I'm ready, I'll click the Add button, and they have been added to the work order. Now, I might want to add some more. I could go back to the work order here, or I could go into the Items tab, check things out, realize that I should have put something else on here. If you need to edit these items, then you can expand them and edit the items within this group. You can change quantity, pricing, delete it. The easiest way to learn this, of course, is just to experiment. Get in there and play around with it. Now, if you need to add more items, you realize you should have added something else, then you would, I didn't mean to click that hamburger menu, then you would click the Add Items button and do it all over again. So let's say that I want to add, I'm just going to randomly pick something like a capacitor. You know, I should show you how to do that. So let's say we want a capacitor. It's already included, but we'll pretend like it isn't. 5 microfarad capacitor. So I'll type in 5 MFD and search for that. And I'm not seeing it. So I might try adding a space. I might filter by category, but you notice that space did it. By putting that space in there, it was able to find 5 microfarad MFD. I could have searched for 440V. I mean, where else would you see 440V? In fact, you know, let's do that. You're trying to think of something that's unusual. 440V is unusual. So that would help. All right. Now, before I click the Add button, I want to explain this feature here, last position. If you click on that, you can determine where you want to put this item. Do you want to put it in the very beginning? Do you want to put it after this one? Do you want to put it in the last position? Very handy, because you might wish you had thought of that earlier and put it in the very beginning, such as a diagnostic fee. I'll click the Add button, and there it is. Now, again, if you realize you made a mistake or you need to edit the quantity, then you would go back to the Items tab and remove these items or edit them. Remember the arrow. If it's a group item, meaning it's a single item with many things within it, it'll look like this. You'll have a Group Items tab. If it's a single item, single line item, not a group item, then it will not have that Group Items tab. It'll just say Details, and then you can click Edit Details. And here you can change the price, the quantity, the description. Whether or not you're allowed to do this depends on your company and how they've set it up. Once you've made your changes, click Save, hit the back button, and repeat the process until you are good to go. Now, once you have added your flat rate tasks, you're ready to make your presentation. You're ready to talk to your client about what needs to be done. After all of the work is finished, we recommend you then add the actual items that you used. So you would, if you're a flat rate company, you would start by putting your flat rate task on the work order, make your presentation, do the work, repeat if necessary. Your final step is to add the items that you actually used on that service call. That's our recommendation. Whether or not you do that is something that you will be discussing with management. That's part of inventory tracking, control, and replenishment. You may or may not be doing that. So that concludes this video on adding descriptions and items to work orders. I'll see you in the next one.